But overall, just the comedy, like a lot of people might see this and just be like, what's funny about this and stuff. It's just one of those movies where you kind of just have to be into that style of just things that aren't funny, but like the payoffs just work and are quirky to your mindset.
Drive-by movies, and you're watching
Fresh Releases.
My name's Blaze.
And my name is James.
And this week we're talking Ruben Östlund's new movie, Triangle of Sadness.
This is really bad. This is really, really bad.
Triangle of Sadness comes from Neon Pictures, and it's about a fashion model celebrity couple who join an eventful cruise for the super rich. So this movie from Ruben is our second movie for our channel, I believe. We checked out The Square quite some time ago, or I'm not sure if that actually was for our channel or not, and if we just watched it for our old podcast that we used to do. But yeah, Triangle of Sadness. This is a different change of pace, but still has a lot of the bizarre humor. This movie did get a lot of nominations, which was interesting, and I wasn't really that caring about it. Seeing the trailer, I was just like, we keep getting all these black comedy movies about like rich people and how despicable they are. Like, I like that kind of humor. I hate the rich because I'm broke, but this movie's a lot more than what I expected. Blaze, what are your first initial thoughts?
Yeah, this movie, it's funny because I was very hyped for this movie, very anticipating after winning the Palme d'Or, but also even just the fact that, this was for Ruben Östlund, his, back-to-back Palme d'Or winner. His previous film, as you mentioned, The Square, had won that award already. And also, we both really enjoyed The Square. So that was something where I'm like, okay, this movie, it's been a while since he's directed a movie. This is his follow-up. I'm very excited to see it. But then for some reason, I never got around to watching it. Now we're finally watching it. It's well after the Academy Awards, well after it's been on Hulu for a minute. And I think it might have been that runtime that was stopping me from watching this movie. But overall, I have to say I really enjoyed this film. It was hilarious at times. He just has this interesting, like weird, kind of slow pacing that does have its payoffs here and there. But overall, like the comedy, it's very different than like an American or just even, an English language comedy. It just has its own kind of ebb and flow to it where it really works. Even though this is an English language movie, it often doesn't feel like that same style of comedy.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree, because this movie isn't for everyone, and this comedy isn't going to work on much people. It makes sense for like Neon to kind of pick up this movie and advertise it the way they did, because overall the trailer for the most part just shows kind of the second half of this movie, mainly the cruise aspect of them being on the ship. But there's like, really interesting intro and third act that I didn't really expect to get into, which were kind of more my favorite moments within the movie, where I was cracking up the most. Of course, there's some funny moments on the cruise, but like I hate sounding like this kind of person, but it's one of those movies where just some people are not gonna get. And The Square, I'd say, is much more that style movie versus this one. This one's a little bit more digestible for a lot more mainstream audiences, but there's a lot of people out there who will like watch Rick and Morty, and if someone says they don't like it, like, well, you just don't get it. It's like your brain doesn't understand the style of humor that this is like very high intellect with. And I like Rick and Morty, but it's not that style of show by any means. And this, I'd say, is more along those lines, where it's just like, not saying you might not understand the movie. The movie is very easy to understand, even despite there being some stuff left for interpretation. But overall, just the comedy, like a lot of people might see this and just be like, what's funny about this and stuff. It's just one of those movies where you kind of just have to be into that style of just things that aren't funny, but like the payoffs just work and are quirky to your mindset.
Definitely. Yeah, this film just, I feel like it has a lot going on. Like you said, it has 3 acts that are all very different. Well, the themes carried throughout throughout. It just feels like, you know, you have that whole intro with like meeting our main characters, your protagonists, and then getting to the ship and just meeting all these weird characters that are on this boat. Woody Harrelson makes his debut like after you've already been on the boat for a while, and then you have this weird, like almost Lord of the Flies-esque third act, but it's so wild. Like the third act's probably my favorite because it's just so weird. It's so weird and entertaining, and this film does drag at points, but that third act just feels like a great payoff throughout it. There's moments in it where you're just like, oh my god, like they're basically on an island but just some other part of it, but they haven't ventured out further enough to realize like they're literally on civilization. Like I feel like I could have seen that coming almost, but just that, like I definitely have seen that I think in other movies, but it was fun to see it with this like weird group of characters because there's just so many bizarre people in this movie throughout it. So we got to talk about the elephant in the room. I mean, kind of similar to how Babylon had literally an elephant in the room scene. This has a very similar elephant in the room scene of just like this insane like nausea boat trip like during dinner where the boat is just rocking like crazy. And then people just, they had like food poisoning as well, right?
Yeah, because at one point
somebody started farting or something.
Well, they bring up at one point that like because they wanted the entire crew to go in the swimming. Someone brought up that that's going to make the food go bad and stuff. And so most likely the food wasn't cooked properly or it might have been sitting out for too long. So that also led to them getting sick. I mean, overall, also just the ship shaking like crazy, too. Like, I couldn't eat that way. But yeah, I was just dying laughing through that scene. I'm a sucker for fart jokes and, you know, like the poop gags in movies like in White Chicks and Dumb and Dumber and stuff. But seeing rich people just throw up and gag like at this expensive gross dinner, and I was just dying laughing also that everyone's eating like squid and caviar and all these small dishes and the captain's eating burger and fries. Like Woody Harrelson kills me.
Oh my god. Yeah, this movie overall I just had so much like funny moments and like fun to it, but I kind of understand why. Like it just feels like I haven't heard anyone say like especially great things about this movie for some reason. I just feel like it missed the whole Academy Award crowd. Got nothing at the awards. I don't know. It might just have those French sensibilities, I guess.
Yeah, you remember how big Captain Phillips was in that meme of like, I'm the captain now? Like, where's the captain memes for this movie? Because I forget the character's name, but just when she takes over, she's like, I'm the captain. Like, who's the captain? I'm the captain. And just like, I was dying laughing at like everything. And then just some of the savagery that goes down at the end. Like, I really loved, the Lord of the Flies aspect of at the end of this movie. And just seeing Carl's character development, like even Yaya's character development throughout the movie. But Carl's just like the most despicable, like character that frustrated the hell out of me throughout the entire movie. And just see him kind of like just become this little bitch like at the end of the movie and stuff just like killed me and was like satisfying to see.
But the irony is like it's so funny, like the darkness of like the kind of how he starts to gravitate towards this person who is like the breadwinner of their island almost in a way, I guess, because they can fish and they are like sufficient where nobody else on the island is like self-sufficient. So he almost starts like I guess falling in love with them. I'm not really sure like if the relationship was really just, you know, friends with benefits, like literally benefits being like octopus and fish or what, but it's just like I feel like he almost starts to like fall for in moments where you see Yaya get like upset with him, and that shit was just so funny. Like it was just so kind of cringe that it was like hilarious.
Yeah, and still playing that manipulative tactic that she was doing earlier in the movie where she's like, I knew what I was doing at the dinner table, and then like it's like, go flirt with her, but don't flirt with her. Touch her, but don't touch her and stuff. And it's just like, I'm just dying laughing and stuff. And like, yeah, it's like, it's frustrating for some people and some people might not get the jokes, but like I was cracking up. And yeah, like despite it being a 2.5 hour movie, like it really flew by really quickly, especially with it being split into 3 acts for the most part, because each act feels short and I could have watched each one go longer, I feel like, but But they're actually paced very well, with each one being like probably like 35 minutes or so.
Definitely. And probably a little bit longer here and there. I think the endings for sure at least are over an hour, I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, let us know what you thought about the movie. It's streaming on Hulu still, so be sure to check it out there. Another great way to help support the show is by watching it through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below. So be sure to do that and come back here letting us know what you thought about the movie in the comments.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And if you can't get enough of us here on YouTube, be sure to catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own Letterboxd accounts. Also check out our new show, Screen Scuffle, where we battle movies that might have something to do with each other, might not. Check it out. Anyways, guys, that'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.